To Sportif Saint-Léon for this Group C matchup in the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers between our host Switzerland and the visitors Türkiye. Well, it's going to be a very exciting matchup. Of course, Switzerland almost making an historic victory, which they came up short in the end against Serbia, while Türkiye getting off to a fine start indeed as they took on Bosnia and Herzegovina. Tonight's big game is the second matchup here in the first window of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers, and all roads begin tonight. The road to Doha 2027 is underway. And good evening, basketball fans. Welcome to Fribourg, Switzerland at the site Sportif Saint-Léon, here between our host Switzerland and Türkiye. Group C fixture of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. Well, we'll look at the other games going on. Of course, Bosnia and Herzegovina will be hosting Serbia, also here in Group C. But already these two teams tonight getting off to very different starts. Türkiye with an emphatic victory against Bosnia and Herzegovina, while Switzerland almost making history and nearly getting a win on the road at Belgrade. Well, there are your standings here in Group C. Türkiye with that big victory will remain top of this group, but that could change later this evening. Well, Switzerland have never gone to a Basketball World Cup, and all journeys to Doha 2027 begin in this window. It's going to be a magnificent journey. 6 windows. Remember, on the continent of Europe, a total of 32 teams will battle it out for 12 positions to try and make it to Doha 2027 for the FIBA Basketball World Cup. Because they see the traveling fans from Türkiye, and they for sure have a lot to be passionate about. Remember, Türkiye runners-up indeed at the most recent FIBA Eurobasket. There's Sertaç Şanlı, one of the veterans of this team. And if you go back to that win in which they did defeat Bosnia and Herzegovina, it was Tarik Beberovic who led them in that game. Well, Türkiye, you look at this team, I mean, there's a lot of talent. You're like a kid in the candy store. Because there is Ercan Osmani, who had a magnificent Eurobasket this past summer. Now remember, Türkiye did fail to qualify for the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup. So they have a very big point to prove tonight. Well, Kenan Sabahi, you remember him in the Basketball Champions League when he did play for Karşıyaka at the 35.5. Because now representing his national team here in Switzerland for this big game. And already you can see the variety of different Turkish clubs of fans coming into the building. Well, what an exciting matchup it was for this Swiss national team when they did take on Serbia. I mean, they came so close. I mean, it was almost heartbreaking for them to see them defeated. But 3 key players that you want to look out for tonight is Alexander Schumacher, who did finish with 19 points, along with 4 rebounds and 3 assists, as well as a couple of players who do play for Lyon de Genève, the Geneva Lions. And actually, their head coach is one of the assistant coaches tonight, the likes of Johan Grandvorka, and not to mention a man currently playing in Romania will be number 7. That is Schumacher there. And he's playing in the G League for the Valley Suns. Well, it's a very talented team. But here's the man you want to look out for, Salim Fofana. Now, he's playing currently in Romania. He's one of their top players. There's Tony Rociak as well. So, you know, he played a solid 21 minutes in that game. But look at the young man coming out. Here is a young prospect you want to get familiar with. That is Luka Manima, potentially an NBA draft prospect. Noah Nibe, of course, as well as Matteo Piccarelli, and Yasman Mambo will be the final player to come out. This team coached by Ilias Papadedro, along with his assistant Dimitrios Menodakas and Patrick Pembele, because he's also the head coach of Lyon de Genève, excuse me, my apologies. Well, fans, now it's the best part of the day. We're going to stand for the national anthems of these two beautiful countries. The national anthems of both Switzerland and Türkiye have been sung, and now players and coaches will shake hands. There you can see Ilia Papadedro shaking hands with Ergan Ataman. Now those two actually coach against each other in the Greek Basketball League. Ergan Ataman currently coaching in Athens, and while coach Ilias Papadedro is currently with Marousi, BC. Well, very soon we are going to introduce 4 very important people for tonight's game, and those are our 3 referees and 1 commissioner and technical delegate. And then very shortly after that, we'll look at the starting lineups. Well, we have Luis Castillo from Spain, Marius Sulin from Romania, and of course Blaj Zupancic coming from Slovenia. The commissioner and technical delegate is Winfried Ginchel. So a big thank you to all of our officials who've done a magnificent job in all of our games. You've probably seen them in Basketball World Cups, Eurobaskets, and even Basketball Olympics. And they'll continue to do a great job here tonight. Now time to look at the starting 5, and we'll begin with the visitors. There's Seamus Hazza, who did have 18 points in that victory against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Because we have seen many times at the Eurobasket, Coach Ergan Ataman does like to make Hazza his primary point guard in the starting 5. So there you have it. Hazza will be there. Tarik Beberovic, who was actually their leading scorer, 20 points in that game, alongside Kenan Sapahi, Yican Saibir, and of course the man playing in Athens, Omer Farouk, Yut-7. If you look at the bench there for Coach Ataman, Sevtak Shanley, Arslan as well, the likes of Korkmaz. I mean, he's a former NBA player with the Philadelphia 76ers, so, well, the disappointment, not winning the Eurobasket, but also failing to qualify for the last Basketball World Cup in Japan, Indonesia, and the Philippines. But so far, they're off to a great start. Well, now it's time to look at the starting 5 for our host, Switzerland. And of course, yeah, we talk about that game in Belgrade. There's a lot to like about this team. We've got quite a few players playing for Lyon de Genève, the Geneva Lions, also playing for Fribourg. And of course, many of these players, or some of them at least, actually played for Fribourg Olympic 6 years ago when they were in the Basketball Champions League in this arena. Well, Johan Grandvoka, along with Alexander Schumacher, along with Paul Gravet, Celine Fofana, and Yasmin Mambo in the lineup. Well, Mambo's actually, when he was a youngster, came from infamous French Pro R&B Academy, CSP Limoges. But look out for Luca Manima. He'll be coming off the bench. He didn't play that game against Bosnia and Herzegovina. But head coach Ilia Papadedro definitely knows he's got an elite talent for him as a secondary option. Well, now taking over the realm as head coach of Switzerland, Coach Ilia Papadedro, of course, began his career back in 2008 with Nia Kafisia. But he also coached in the Basketball Champions League with PAOK Thessaloniki, AEK Athens, and also 2 years with Prometheus Patras. And what a big opportunity he has. Well, a big thank you and shout out as the official sponsor. The Tissot Countdown to Tip-Off is underway. And we are indeed live here in Fribourg, Switzerland. There's many great nights we used to see in this arena when they played 2 years in the Basketball Champions League, Fribourg Olympic. But for now, it's national team duties. Well, Türkiye, they've been to 5 FIBA Basketball World Cups. Go back to 2010, coming second place to the United States of America when they did host it. But it hasn't been since 2019 when they, of course, played in China. For Switzerland, they've never been that far before. They've been to the Olympics, but they've never gone to a Basketball World Cup. And you got to think with that performance that they showcased in Belgrade, definitely they'll have a chance. 32 European teams will battle in the first 3 windows. Remember, only 12 teams in Europe will make it to Doha 2027. Can head coach Ilias Papadedro find the ingredients, the formula, to get the winning foundations and get this team to the second round? 32 teams, all groups of 4. Top 3 will make it on to round 2. And a little bit of history between both Türkiye and Switzerland. This indeed is only the 4th ever international matchup. The last time they met, indeed, was back in 2003. Switzerland, when they had Harold and Jan Mrazek. That time Türkiye, well, they had some of the greats. Mirsad Turcan, Ibrahim Kutlay, and not to mention Harun Erdanay. But it's been 22 long years since these two teams have met. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Fribourg. Basketball World Cup qualifiers. Switzerland versus Türkiye. Well, it's going to be Türkiye with the first possession, because they're going to be riding a lot of confidence, especially after that emphatic win against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Switzerland maybe feel that they probably have a quickness advantage, but Türkiye definitely have the size that goes in their favor. Baberovic finds you at 7. Inside the paint, loses it. Good defense. Schumacher now, of course, is one of the leading players for Switzerland in that game against Serbia. Mambo still has it. Fine and Fofana. Still time here on the shot clock for Switzerland. Fofana goes down the middle. Goes in for a soft hook, and that is B-E-A. Beautiful way to begin the game for Switzerland. Oh, Salim Fofana. Because he had to go up against the much bigger U7. And that wasn't easy. Well, deep one cut for Türkiye, and that goes in from downtown. Well, Seamus Hazza really has developed into an elite talent, that's for sure. Schumacher of the G League. Now he finds a bit of separation, goes to 3 and buries this one right in the face of Seamus Hazza. Well, both guys exchanging three-point field goals here in the first few minutes. Fofana matching up with Hazza. There's a kick out to Kenneth Sabahi. Sabahi denies the ball screen, now drawing the foul against Alexander Schumacher. The screen was being set by Yurt7, but Sabahi, one of those, naturally he was always a small forward when he played for Ufuk Sadiqa at Karşıyaka, but we have seen him become a point forward throughout his career. Baberovic inside the paint, showing the aggression. He wanted the out one, but he's not going to get that one. But he gets the 2 points, leveling things up here in the first 2 minutes. Everything running through Schumacher or Fofana. Mambo makes extra pass. There's a pump fake. Well, had him up in the air. You felt maybe a bit of contact was going to be made, but neatly tucked away by Paul Grave. Because Grave, one of these players that did play in this arena when they were in the Basketball Champions League Fribourg Olympic. Hasn't makes that contact, but that foul is going to be called on the ground. That's going to be the second team foul against Switzerland. That's intelligent play by Seamus Hazza, because he just patiently waits for Salim Fofana to get him on his back. Does such a magnificent job of reading the defense. Sabahi inbounding this. Getting the switch on defense. Mambo. Well, Mambo won a switch back. Offensive rebound. There's a size advantage here for Türkiye. Good help side defense. But another wide open 3. Baberovic puts it up and sinks it. Well, if offensive rebounding is going to be a key factor, Switzerland's going to have to battle against Türkiye. Mambo coming up for the high screen. Looking for the backdoor play. Trying to back down against Yurt7. Nowhere to go. Turnaround. Almost got it, but problem here with Switzerland. Mambo's going to make those moves. They're not bad moves at all, but nobody going in for second chances. Sabahi. Fans the post up. Kicks out. Another 3 goes flying. And Türkiye coming out like a house on fire. Well, the big fella, Omer Yurt7, he can nail those. Third triple already here for Türkiye. There's the penetration by Fofana. Well, nice play, unable to finish, but a foul is going to be called. And this is the problems that he caused against Serbia. I mean, both Salim Fofana and Alexander Schumacher, I mean, they are very creative, great isolation plays. This is him forcing a switch and putting a foul against the big fella. Well, it's actually Granvoka, my apologies, to make that 3. Johan Granvoka. Well, Johan Granvoka, Chris, is also one of the key players. Now, he's also playing professionally in Switzerland as well. This is playing in Lausanne for the Foxes. Also played in France at ASM Le Portel and started as a junior with Sloop Nancy in the pro at LNB. Grant Volker cutting it down to a 2-point deficit. Well, the officials need to realize the game clock has stopped. The game clock hasn't started. The shot clock's winding down, but the game clock isn't going. Well, the game clock is still not going. Well, another three in transition, can't get it. I think the officials may have just identified. But they've got the time right to where it needs to be at 6:06. Now indeed 4 minutes just gone here in the first quarter. Still a 2-point lead to Türkiye. Sabahi spinning baseline. Now caught a double team. Well, that's great defense, but Baberovic saves it. Still time here for Türkiye. Baberovic penetrates. Well, that's going to be another foul against Switzerland. Make that 14th foul, so no to give here with 5:47 to go, but this one's on Grant Volker. Or is it actually on Grant Volker? Well, the cheer, of course, coming from the traveling Turkish fans who've made the journey here to Freiburg to watch this game. Just a lot of support of how the culture of basketball Türkiye is all about. Well, Türkiye did miss 10 free throws in their victory against Bosnia and Herzegovina, but Baberovic now has 7 points. Switzerland now trying to find space here for Fofana. Getting that screen again from Mambo. Contested long 19, not going to go. Great defense. And now here comes Türkiye. Hazard makes a pass, goes in, throws it down. A bit of Turkish transition coming. Oh, beautifully tucked away by Yichad Saibir. 6-point lead currently here with just over halfway to go in the first quarter. Switzerland trying to go down low, good defense. That's going to remain Switzerland ball. Well, he's one of the greatest in international basketball, Ergan Ataman. Shumaha spinning. Pulls up for 15, tough shot. And again, a lack of offensive rebounding here at the moment for Switzerland. They haven't recorded one yet. That's one stat. If they compete against Türkiye tonight, it's going to do them a world of favors. 7 falls down, but that's going to be another foul. The problem is Switzerland don't have any fouls to give. It's an accidental foul, of course. It's a trip, but not the kind of foul you want to give away. Well, Omer Yurtseven, of course, went to the NCAA prior to going into the NBA. Played at Georgetown, North Carolina State University. As he misses the first free throw. Because his last time in the NBA was 2023-24 when he did play for the Utah Jazz. Played 48 games that season. Second free throw good. 7-point lead. Well, there's a Kashiaka fan there in the middle. The infamous green and red. Mambo now getting handoff here with Shumaha. Inside of Gravy. Gravy nowhere to go. Time winded down. Well, they got to get something quick. Oh, great take in the middle. Almost got it. Mambo tries a battle, but Türkiye prevent the offensive board. Now they have numbers. Has a pump fakes. Well, Mambo doing a good job preventing the post entry to Yurtseven. That's good defense. Sabahi mash up here with Fofana. Another switch. Sabahi penetrates. Misses a layup, but it's another offensive board. Well, Switzerland defending excellently, but they've got to prevent the second chances. Now Baberovic, another three. Cooking from downtown. 10 points already for Tarik Baberovic. He is on fire. And a timeout is going to be called by Ilias Papadendro. Well, they got a problem, and that is the rebounding. Well, Türkiye just getting too much at the moment. They're 4 out of 5 from the perimeter, but we'll go down to Switzerland's bench to find out what Coach Papadendro is going to address to his players.
We are here, guys. We are here, guys. We are here. We play this fucking step-up pick and roll, and instead to make this pocket pass over here and the short roll pass to release the game, you make this decision, and they score a layup on the fast break. Use the short roll screen, use the short roll pass here to release the game in every step-up action. One time you did that, and we score an open shot over here. One time. We play shoulder 2. Shoulder 2. Iverson for Johan. Shoulder 2. You make this pass in and out. Slip the pick and pass back. And pin down away. Okay? Let's go, guys.
Well, the timeout called by head coach Ilias Papadendro really to deal with how to defend Türkiye's pick and roll, because it's been very, very deadly for Switzerland's defense as of yet. Switzerland just trying to find a little bit of offensive routine. So far, 6 second chance points already here for Türkiye. That's something they've got to do a better job of. Oh, it's gonna be a turn. No, they keep this one alive. Great recovery. Now Switzerland will fire 3, and that's gonna be buried from downtown. Well, just coming into the game, Matteo Piccarelli. Well, not a bad option indeed. Still a 7-point lead currently here to Türkiye. There's that pick and roll. Nice dump down. Pump fake, and that's way too easy. Well, the high pick and roll finding Unit 7 at the free throw line. And then the baseline backdoor from Seamus Hazard. Bit of ghost action coming here from Paul Grave. Schumau back to Mambo. This is better passing. Now another 3. That's a good look by Johan Grandvorka, but they come up with it. Piccarelli unable to contest the second chance points. Mambo. Well, the back door was there. Good hands on defense. And now Ute 7 goes in. Gets rejected. Well, big time recovery by Yasman Mambo. There's the fake pass. Mambo follows up. Still can't get it, and that's going back to Türkiye. Well, Sertac Shanley checking into the game for Ute 7. I think Ute 7 may not want to ever go casually in transition with Yasman Mambo on the floor. Switzerland had a fantastic opportunity to counterattack and transition, but they weren't able to do that. Well, change is coming in for Switzerland as Boris Mbala is going to sub into the game for the first time, as well as Tony Ruchak as well. So both teams changing so far here late in the first quarter. But Berovic, he's been on fire. Ruchak getting the rebound. Everything running here for fun, and now mid-range. That's cool, sweet and composed. That mid-range so automatic. Now with his second field goal here in the first quarter. Switzerland switching on dribble handoffs. Sapahi defended by Fofana. And again, another switch. A lot of 1 through 5 switching from the Swiss defense. Hazard thinks about it, now takes it. Shanley comes up, bit of contact, and another offensive rebound. Make that 8 second chance points already here in the first quarter. Well, Fofana finds Ruchak. Well, Ruchak going at Shanley. I mean, it's a good take, but Shanley has the size with Ruchak. That's what you want to see more from the post inside from Switzerland. Mbala battling here with Baberovic. Now they force another switch. Shanley's got a mismatch. That's good defense from Switzerland. But Beberovic, crossover, step back. And Mbala's able to gather this time. Switzerland potentially could go 2 for 1 considering the amount of time left here in the first quarter. Fofana getting that screen, back to Rochak. Rochak again, this time fadeaway. The thing is, somebody from the backcourt's got to contest for an offensive rebound. Has it, baseline, turns it over. Now you have just over 2 seconds difference between game and shot clock. Salim Fofana just wants to dribble this one down, get the final play. Because he was 5 out of 13 against Serbia in Belgrade the other day. Not a bad foul to give away by Kenan Sabay because it's only the second team foul for Türkiye. But now the shot clock will officially be turned off. Oh, Gurlu coming into the game for the first time. A lot of changes. Osmani as well, Ercan Osmani. Of course, remember him when he played in green and black for Dano Shafika in the Basketball Champions League. Oh, Sertac Shanley thought he was subbed out. I realizes he's back in the game. 6.3. Well, he got to get it bound. Fofana, got to go quick. Crosses over. Another foul committed, so 1.3 left here. Türkiye do have one foul to give that won't send Switzerland to the free throw line. Well, he got it inbound. Fofana, one dribble, gets it off. Oh, baby! That is what I call Swiss time. Incredible by Salim Fofana as he beats the buzzer. Whoa. Efficient and precise. Swiss time, baby, as we're live here in Fribourg for the FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. Salim Fofana buries it and beats the buzzer. Well, that is the end of the first quarter. Switzerland just able to cut it down to a 6-point deficit. Now 3 out of 5 for the perimeter. Remember, they recorded 9 3-pointers against Serbia on the road. Because the problem for them right now has been the second chance points. That's what's really hurt them in this game. The amount of offensive rebounds they've given away. Because Türkiye are 4 out of 8 from the perimeter. But Türkiye 11 boards in total. Something they definitely dominated in this matchup. Well, we'll take a look at the highlights very, very soon. Well, you can see it's been a great start here for both Salim Fofana and Schumacher. I mean, they are really exciting players to watch. But Türkiye, led by Seamus Hazard, but also Tarek Beberovic, who has 10 points. Well, here's the play by Schumacher. The step back. Again, creates his own shot under pressure. But it's Beberovic's pick and roll. Goes under the screen, into traffic. Swissy turning, and the mid-range is automatic. Well, there's Beberovic again. Too much time and space on the perimeter. So far, fans, 6-point ball game. Use that QR code and download Courtside 1891, where you can get all the best live streams, schedules, and scores of international basketball. Courtside 1891. Use that QR code and download it today. Well, as mentioned, he's currently playing professional basketball in Romania. There's quite a lot of excitement about Salim Fofana. He's also played in Germany's 2nd division with Medi Bayreuth, and also, as of last season, played in Hungary. He averaged 10 points per game in Hungary last season, Salim Fofana. Well, another 3. Picarelli's made 1. It's a little too short. All right, actually cut the screen, but Türkiye's defense does make every contested 3-pointer a low percentage look. As now Korkmaz into the lineup here for Türkiye. They also have Yilmaz and Yiğit Arslan. An experienced lineup. Osmani with a post up. Being heavily defended. Trying to use that size, goes in. That's way too easy for the big man. Well, Kylian Martin played good defense, but simply better post offense by Osmani. Back to an 8-point ball game. Rocak comes off the high screen with Fofana. Picarelli. Finding Mbala on the kick out. Mbala off the dribble. Almost got it. Osmani gathers the rebound. Kind of feels Switzerland going to be able to compete and try to win this game. They're going to have a very good night from the perimeter. They're currently 3 out of 7 from the three-point line. Türkiye now 50%, 4 out of 8. Time winded down for Korkmaz. There's a kick out. There's another 3. That one's up, no good. And great work by Kylian Martin, preventing the offensive board between both Sertac Shanley and Ercan Osmani. I mean, look, he's right between both of them. I mean, it falls right to him, but they both stand just nearly at 210 centimeters each. Switzerland have only turned the ball over once here in the first quarter. Rocak high pick and roll. This could be, I thought it was going to be a kickball violation, nothing given. Türkiye want to extend their lead, make it double digits. Double team coming over. Osmani, wow, goes out of bounds, and he does turn it over. Well, great job by Mbala, coming over and committing that double team. Now the officials are going to discuss this. Remember, Ercan Ataman does have one coach's head coach challenge. Really use it though. That's Yasman Mambo. I think they've overturned it. Mambo back into the lineup here for Switzerland. Nine here on the shot clock for Türkiye. There's a penetration. Another kick out. Korkmaz. 5th 3 for Türkiye. Again, flying with confidence. 11-point cushion. Over 2 minutes played here in the second quarter. Now listen to the Turkish fans in this building. Fofana finds Mambo. Mbala, pump fakes. Now pulls up for 15 and 6 out 1. The high release makes that impossible to block. Great move by Mbala. Well, Boris Mbala now getting his first 2 points. Korkmaz trying to deal with a switch on the defense, and again we're seeing this 1 through 5 switching with Switzerland. Time winded down. Got to think about taking it. Pump fakes, step through, and a foul is going to be called. That's going to go back to Türkiye. Well, that is heartbreaking indeed for Switzerland because the defense was outstanding, but it's a foul on the box side, I believe. That's on Fofana. That's going to be a second personal foul. That's on Picarelli. It's only his first. Now, Alexander Schumacher has checked back into lineup here for Switzerland. Korkmaz, pump fakes, another 3. Another offensive board for Türkiye. Getting inside the lane, now finds Osmani. Osmani tries to go to his right. Bit of separation. But great work by Mambo, preventing another second shots opportunity. Oh, it's an unforced turnover indeed. Türkiye have numbers, 3 on 2. Finding Arslan. Can he make 3, number 6? Well, they had options, Mbala almost losing it. Still got it. Türkiye felt maybe a carry went uncalled there. Fofana still working with Mambo. Kicks out to Mbala. Quick 3. That's going to be way off the mark. Good contest on defense. Nearly thrown away, but they are able to recover this one. Well, ankle breaker. Well, good hands by Mambo. That's 2 great defensive plays by the big fella. And Schumacher going behind the back. That time drawing the foul against Sertac Shanley. I think It looks like he may need a little bit of a breather. As Tarek Baberovic will sub back into the lineup here for Türkiye. Well, Türkiye do have 10 points inside the paint, but the interesting thing is that Switzerland have more points from Turkish turnovers. They have 5 so far. Well, Switzerland making another change. As Yuri Solka into the lineup now here for the first time. Solka had 9 points in that defeat against Serbia in the first game of this window. Shumawa, nowhere to go. Now Solka works again with Mambo. Well, Fofana's got to put this one up. Tries to beat the shot clock at Swiss time once again by Salim Fofana. Well, he's becoming Mr. Buzzer Beater. 9 points. Well, there's a penetration. Goes in, misses the layup. Well, a little bit too much pressure for Furkan Korkmaz. And a foul is going to be committed by Berk Urlu. Double change committed by Ergan Ataman as Seamus Hazard and Kinit Sapai will come back into the lineup. Because Türkiye don't want to get too comfortable. They got to understand it was a great win against Bosnia and Herzegovina, but now they're on the road. Fofana. Got it by Kinit Sapai. 6er on the shot clock. Well, tough fadeaway. Mambo tries to go for the offensive board, but Osmani's able to gather that one. It's now we're into halfway to go here in the second quarter, live here in Freiburg, Switzerland. Baberovic bumping inside the paint, but he's now had to kick this one out to Sabahi. Time winded down. Baberovic finds Hazard. Hazard bumps, goes in. And that will be foul number 2 against Salim Fofana with 4:38 left. Well, I think Mambo's been outstanding in this game. Defensively, he has been a solid unit. As Ergan Ataman subbing back in Omer Yurtseven. Seamus Hazard now at the free throw line. Because you have to remember, he started his career with Tekshir Bandirma, the club formerly known as Bombin, who made it to the first final of the Basketball Champions League. Because then when it transferred to a big club in Istanbul in 2020. This has been an outstanding addition to the national team. Go back to 2022 FIBA Eurobasket. Shumawa. Again, it's another turnover. Same play coming off that screen. Still a 7-point lead to Türkiye. Switzerland don't want to rock up too many turnovers. It's an area they've had an advantage. Mambo felt he committed the foul. That time the foul is committed. That one's on the ground. It's only the 3rd team foul against Switzerland. Well, here we go. Switzerland's potential NBA prospect into the game. Played at the FIBA Under-19 World Cup this summer, where he led Switzerland with almost a triple-double and a historic win against France. Osmani, reverse layup like a Turkish Dr. J. Tough play. Now extending it to a 9-point lead. He now moves up to 7. Mambo coming up for high screen. Looking for that handoff. Fofana. Needs a bit of help here. Pulling up for the mid-range. That time unable to beat the shot clock. Kylian Mata was wide open. As it kicks out, Baberovic, he's been on fire again. He's cooking. He's feeling that confidence. 20 points against Bosnia and Herzegovina. And he doesn't look like he's cooling down tonight. He's got 13. 12-point lead to Türkiye. Luka Manima. Mambo bumps, goes in for the hook. It's a good move. But Switzerland, the lack of offensive rebound, only 2 so far this evening, really is affecting them. Well, Berovic getting good defense by Luka Manima. Well, he's currently playing in the Basketball Champions League with Dreamland Gran Canaria. Very exciting prospect. That's putting it very mildly. Well, a timeout is going to be called with 2:45 to go. We're going to head down to Switzerland's bench to find out what head coach Ilias Papadendro has to say.
You have the ball on your hands. You have the ball on your hands. 14 seconds left. You have the ball. We play this type on offense. Entry pass to Paul. Here is Yuri. Here is Yuri. Entry pass to Paul. Yuri, you are inbounded. And you go to the corner. Entry pass to Paul. In and out. You pass the ball back. The 5-man is here. On the flights on the ball, you set the pin down for Selim. Selim, if you are not open, hey, stay. You reverse the ball back to Manyama, and the main pin down is here between Paul and Yuri. Well, okay, the first open. And next we play L21. All right, guys, let's go.
I think you heard at the beginning of that timeout, Ilias Papadendro saying, look, with 14 seconds, you've still got the ball in your hands. They just need to be a little bit more clinical. Because the creativity's there, but they're taking just maybe a little bit too much time to get into a really solid set. Well, 2:45 to go here in the first half. 12-point lead currently to Türkiye. Türkiye, 19 boards, 5 of them have been offensive rebounds. Well, that 3 will get their confidence going. Beautifully tucked away from downtown by Yuri Solka, just coming off the bench. It's now the 5th 3 of the game for Switzerland. They're 5 out of 10. Well, correction, 4 out of 9, I should say. Now Kenan Sapahi responding with a bang. Well, Türkiye, they won't calm down. 7 out of 16 for downtown. Sapahi gets his first field goal. Fofana. Well, he's been on fire so far tonight. Mambo trying to battle. Türkiye trying to save it. Switzerland battle. A foul is going to be called out. Wow, that's going to be called against Adichan Osmani. Well, Osmani committed the foul. So Switzerland are going to retain this one with a fresh 14 on the shot clock. A great hustle in the end by Switzerland's number 11, Yuri Solka. And that's Türkiye's final foul to give away. Let's look here. Good to say by Berovic. Now watch Osmani. Okay, right, so good call. There was a push. Solka, quick catch and shoot. That's not a bad look, but the defense is right there. Time is winding down, of course, but Switzerland, as we've seen in this first half, they have created some high percentage looks. Only made 1 triple so far in this quarter, and that came from Solka. Türkiye have converted 3 out of 8 here in the second. Sapahi, there's another kick out, but Berovic, 13 points, make it 16. Tarek Berovic is unconscious. Well, he's almost got as many points here in the first half as he did in the entire game against Bosnia and Herzegovina. 15-point lead currently. Dragon going up for the screen. Rolling. Good hands by Sapahi. Türkiye forcing another turnover. Now potentially could go 2 for 1. But Berovic, tough pass to Hazard. Well, Manima, good denial entry against Osmani. Another kick out. Yurtseven goes in, beautiful basketball. The entry was there, and they're moving the ball crisp and sharp and getting good looks. And that could be a 2-for-1 for Türkiye. 14 points in the paint, only 6 so far for Switzerland. Fofana dishes off, goes in, a foul's gonna be called. That's much better. Foul is on Yurtseven. Well, it started with the penetration by Salim Fofana. That made Türkiye's defense collapse. While Yurtseven may have thought he had the paint protected. Great reaction by Gravet. It's quite a block if you ask me, because if anything, it prevents a potential and one. Well, Paul Gravet at the free throw line. He's unable to make the first free throw. Well, he's currently playing for Lyon de Genève, the Geneva Lions. 3 seasons, actually no, much more than that, 5 seasons with Fribourg Olympic. One of those, he actually played in the BCL where he played 20 games. Second free throw converted. Which should actually be a point of failure. They've changed it now. So 16-point ball game.
Ercan burada, Şemuz, Tarık burada, Ömer de burada. Ercan, bir Şemuz'a verebiliyorsak Şemuz'a, yoksa Ercan'a buradan buraya. Şayet veriyorsak, Şemuz'a veriyorsak Ercan hemen böyle geliyor. Kenan top tarafı, hep burada dörtlük kullanıyoruz. Buraya geldiğimiz zaman trap yapabilirler. Trap'e girmeyelim, tamam mı? Hemen bir tane four corner bir tane olacağız. Fark etmez, kimin oynadığını fark etmez.
Well, it's quite a coaching staff that he's got working with him, Ergan Ataman. It's a hell of a coaching staff if you think about it. His assistant coach, Jakob Sekiskak, who's the head coach. And there again, you see top left corner, a Karşıyaka fan. Türkiye leading by 16, want to get one last bucket. Switzerland do have one foul to give. Sabahi getting the screen. Mambo has a switch. Osmani catching, shoot, can't get it. Well, Switzerland defended that one well, and we'll go into the halftime break with Türkiye looking to remain undefeated here in the opening window of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup Qualifiers. Well, we're going to take a look at the stats in this game. Switzerland leading in terms of points from turnovers. The one stat they are leading, that's 10-7. It's been points in the paint and second chance points in which Türkiye really have been dominant. Türkiye's three-point shooting has been magnificent as well. They're currently 8 out of 18 from downtown, 4 of those coming from Terry Baberovic as we look at some of the key stats here. Because neither team really get into the free throw line too much here in the first half, but Türkiye, you look at that three-point count, along with second chance points, that has been the key difference, and also dominating the rebounds. So far, Türkiye with 5 offensive boards and 5 more assists as well, for that matter. Well, Terry Baberovic, 16 points, 4 away from what he got against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Second leading scorer for this team. Indeed, it's Ercan Osmani with 7. Salim Fofana leading Switzerland with 9. Well, we're going to look at the best highlights and recap the best moments from the first half momentarily. Well, it's quite an exciting start between these two teams exchanging buckets, but Ercan Osmani going inside the paint and taking Mountain right to the bucket. Well, that was a great denial of the screen by Berk Ulul. That time kicking out, finding Furkan Korkmaz. bearing the dribble. Look at this off the dribble, mid-range by Mbala. Boris Mbala has got to cook up tonight. But look at this. Mr. Buzzer beater from the shot clock. Indeed, Salim Fofana. No defense is going to stop him at that point. That is tough indeed because the defense is good. But the offense was simply elite. And Osmani again. Got it by Matson. Spin and baseline. A Turkish Dr. JS move. Seamus Hazza getting the defense on his back. But Berovic right now cooking indeed. 4 out of 6 from the three-point line. Well, Luka Manima, of course, a young prospect. There was the catch and shoot from the perimeter. Just coming off the bench, Yuri Solka. It was Kenan Sabahi. That was the kick out. But Berovic, and that was his 4th three. They got to stop him tonight. He's on fire. Even Osmani. The kick out. Back inside the paint, Yurt 7. It's been all Türkiye. It's halftime. We'll be back momentarily.
Get this body size. Oh my goodness sakes, that's a throwdown. Goes in for the dunk. Good night. Too big, too strong, and just too good.
Bogdanovic, who goes in and scores. Ah!
This is what it's all about.
It's all one big basketball family, folks.
Winning time.
Both teams over the limit.
You have got to be kidding me! Half-court offense has been very good indeed. The Netherlands. Verbers off the screen. Lovely little cut along the baseline and one. Wow, that's just beautiful off-ball movement from Lukas Krutov. The pass was just as exquisite from Verbers.
5 seconds left. Joksimovic will go all the way through and get the score. Big time play by the 17-year-old. He's now the game's leading scorer. He's played 12 minutes. Morton. Gonna need another 3 attempt. Oh my goodness. Wow.
And Meriden just owning the airspace and taking out his frustration on the basketball.
Croatia reset their offense. Zonya behind his head and finds Ruzic under the rim.
By Ursak. And a little bit of a highlight reel. And it is. Not sure how he caught it, but he did. First 2 points for him.
The Israelis have numbers. Well, here we go, Sorkin. Oh my goodness. Lila Tov. Good night. Roman Sorkin in transition.
And a turnover, Harding. He has numbers. Who's he gonna get it to? Oh goodness me! Flushes it home with one hand. Mateusz Panitka, the Kapitan for Poland.
Might be Kununchuk to drill for the lob, and he's going to tie us up. Oh, it's been thrown away by Grover. Kuhlman for 3. No way! You are kidding me! You are kidding me right now! Unbelievable here in Copa. Has that really just happened? Estonia lead by 1. 4.3 seconds left in overtime. This is unbelievable.
How many times are we going to see this? Baseline, are you kidding me?
Papa Nicolau says, give it to me.
Go attacks to close out, beat Bruno inside.
Fills it up. It's all right.
Well, welcome back, basketball fans. We are live here in Fribourg, Switzerland, with Tarek Baberovic is leading the way with 16 points as Türkiye have a 16-point cushion against Switzerland. Well, Baberovic currently has only missed 2 3-pointers out of 6. He has been cooking. Right now, serving up an entree. And Switzerland's defense has got to do something about it. Türkiye do have 8 3-pointers in total. Along with the 3-point shooting, it's been the second chance opportunities that have put Türkiye ahead. Well, we've seen a lot of good life in the Swiss offense. Defensively, they've got to tighten up in the second half. Well, Türkiye's pick and roll has caused a lot of problems as well as the offensive rebounding, but it's the amount of good looks that Türkiye are getting from the perimeter. That time, Seamus Hazard just finding Baberovic wide open in the corner. Off of Switzerland, Salim Fofana, of course, living up to the expectations in that big game he had against Serbia. Right now, he is actually leading Switzerland with 9 points. Well, Fofana indeed is becoming Mr. Buzzer Beater, beating the end of the first quarter and then also beating the shot clock, which he did on this play. Off the dribble. Well, that was a penetrate. That was the opening bucket, excuse me. Sweet little sky hook right over Omer Yurtseven. You have to elevate and put a high arc on that one. That's a hell of a negative parabola. But that was the mid-range. Because this guy, what I love about his game, he has the ability to create his own shot. Off the dribble, catch and shoot, you name it. There it is. So that was the end of the first quarter, the buzzer beater. Well, this time he beat the shot clock. Well, that's good defense. But how do you stop it? You can't. You can only hope to contain him at that point. Well, still another half of basketball to play. Switzerland do find themselves down. They've got to be able to rally. Yeah, I think Yasman Mambo's got to be given a lot of credit from Switzerland because he's really the one natural center that defensively has been able to prevent easy early lunches inside for players like Sertak Shanley as well as Omer Yurtseven. Well, Martin has come off the bench and also played well for Switzerland, but Tarek Baberovic, 20 points against Bosnia and Herzegovina, and he's got 16 tonight. Ercan Osmani coming off the bench, leading the way with 4 rebounds. The former Darüşşafaka player, Akinin Sabahi, the former Karşıyaka player. Both players featured in the Basketball Champions League for those respective clubs. He's leading in the assist category right now for Türkiye. And knowing Ergan Ataman, who demands excellence, of course, the disappointment of losing to Germany at the FIBA Eurobasket this past summer, he's not going to want his players to let down and take this second half way too easily. You got to remember, Türkiye didn't qualify for the 2023 Basketball World Cup. We didn't get to see them in Indonesia, Japan, or the Philippines. Definitely, they set the record straight last summer, making it to that final in Latvia. The big win for them was against Greece, and Tarek Baberovic having a great season as usual in the Turkish Basketball Super League. There's a lot to like about the Swiss national team. Again, if you were able to watch that game against Serbia, I think they're showing everybody as well. Listen, we've never been to a Basketball World Cup, but we're going to set that straight. Like I said, the disappointment. They were winning for the majority of that game as well. So a lot of heartbreak for them to go all the way to Belgrade and not come up with a victory, but got a lot they need to turn around. Well, the one player right now has had quite a quiet game, respectfully, for Switzerland, is indeed Alexander Schumacher, who's currently playing in the G League. Now, Salim Fofana, because is their leading player in that game against Serbia. Right now he's leading the way here for Switzerland. Well, Fofana, of course, at the moment only has one steal, one assist, but you know, if they are going to come back and win this game, they're going to need him to have a very big game, probably between, I would imagine, something at 20 and 30 points. Well, Kylian Martin has played 7 minutes. He's doing a good a job as he possibly can against players like Ercan Osmani. But that is going to be the area where Switzerland are going to have a slight disadvantage. But, you know, credit to these players. You got Tony Rochak as well coming off the bench. He played a few minutes, but they really need something big from Alexander Schumacher if they are going to get back in this one. Well, there's Paul Grave. He's playing for Lyon de Genève, the Geneva Lions. I also think Boris Mbala came off the bench, but Mambo, in my mind, has been a huge factor. He's played 60 minutes and he doesn't have any points, but he's got 3 rebounds and 2 assists. But it was that one big block shot in the transition defense where prevented Omer Youssef from getting an easy layup. Wow, some of the legends of Turkish basketball in the building. Because like I said, between both Switzerland and Turkey, this is only the 4th ever international meeting. Last meeting was 22 years ago in the qualifiers for the 2003 FIBA Eurobasket. Ibrahim Kudlai, of course, Harun Erdenay. Some of the greats of Turkish basketball did feature. Because I think Turkey, though, would like to get back to the years of 2010 when they made it to the final of the FIBA Basketball World Cup. And you talk about names such as Hidayet Turkoglu, not to mention Mehmet Okur, some of the great Turkish players who played in the NBA. Mehmet Okur was an NBA champion with the Detroit Pistons in 2004. Maybe even 1 or 2 about Sinan Güler, who was also a part of that team. So there's been a lot of greats of Turkish basketball. But the good thing for Switzerland, 2 more quarters. Remember, this is the opening window of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. 32 teams from Europe and only 12 will be able to book their tickets to Doha 2027. Well, of the 32 teams, 4 teams in each group, the top 3 teams will then go on to the second round. So you'll meet a set of new teams who cross over with a new group, and the results of the first round and do go on to the second. This is quite a competitive group if you think about it. You got Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, along with both Turkey and Switzerland. So now we're just under 2 minutes away from getting this game back underway. Wow, the Jedi Warrior is in the building. Cedi Osman, who's currently playing in the Greek Basketball League in Athens at the Waka. As a former teammate with LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, played in that 2018 NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors, where they ended up getting swept. Well, he had a great NBA career, but great to have him back in Europe playing in the Greek Basketball League. Ercan Ataman getting some final words with his players. As many of you know, he's actually a Galatasaray fan. He's coached some of the great teams in Turkey, but leaving Istanbul, he's actually coaching Cedi Osman and Omer Youssef at the Waka in the Greek Basketball League in Athens. And he coaches against that man who's with Marusi. Berovic standing right next to Galatasaray, or sitting right next to Galatasaray's head coach, Jakub Sekiskuk. Well, you gotta love the mascot. Just casually walking in and amongst the Turkish fans. They seem to, I think they just seem to think, what's going on here? Well, fans, use that QR code to download the official FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifying app. Follow your favorite teams and your favorite players right from the qualifiers up until Doha 2027. And get all the best news, highlights, and content that matter to you most. Download it on your smartphone, tablet, or Android, and use that QR code. We talk about great coaches. He's worked with Ike, PAOK Thessaloniki, and Prometheus, not only in the GBL in Greece, but also in the BCL, the Basketball Champions League. Ilias Papadendro. He knows it's going to be a tough test. Salim Fofana, 9 points so far here in this game. Can Switzerland find a way back in this one? Welcome back, everybody. We're live here in Freiburg, Switzerland. Second game of the first window of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. Kenneth Sapahi now working the high screen with Ute Sullivan. Finds the big fella. That's way too easy, but good execution. Switzerland's got to figure out how to defend Türkiye's pick and roll. Bit of ghost action coming from Gravit. Fofana coming off the bull screen. Shumau forces a switch. Now penetrates. Nowhere to go. Fofana's got to attack. He'll bump. Out of control, can't get it. Rebound secured. And now here comes Türkiye. Wow, Beberovic, 16 points. And what a rare solar eclipse. Only misses third three of the night. Well, great take in the end, but foul has been drawn, so this will send Shumau to the free throw line. I think the good thing about having both Salim Fofana and Alexander Shumau is both players are able to get inside the paint. Well, he spent the last few years playing in the NBA G League. That's an outstanding game against Serbia. Just need him to come to life here in the second half. Give them that extra threat. Second free throw good. Well, that's a man, as always, professionally just watching on, knowing this game far from over. Sapahi trying to find Beberovic. Oh, he misses last three. Missed another one, and Mambo's going to get called for a push in the back. That's the right call indeed. It's going to be... You can see, well, almost took out good servant. It's a Nasselson. You okay? Türkiye running with Sapahi. Sapahi penetrates, goes in, rolls out, you servant. Can't finish. Well, it was right there on the platter, but the inside presence of Yasman Mambo making that one difficult. Shumau. Again, costly turnover. Here comes Türkiye. Beberovic. Foul called. Counted. And he'll go to the free throw line. Well, that is how you convert turnovers into fast break points. Look at Seamus has it. Bumps. Hangs. And a simple kiss off the bank. It's going to be against Grant Volker. Seamus has it now up to 7 points. Also has 3 assists and a chance to make this a 19-point lead for the Türkiye. Free throw converted. Türkiye 4 out of 7 for the free throw line tonight collectively. Fofana behind the back. Finds Mambo. Got to go up with the big fella. Oh, he should have dunked that one. Hasn't scored yet tonight. Now Grant Volker. Bit of separation, mid-range up. Offensive board. Shumau trying to get points in the paint. They finally do so. Well, they had to work for it indeed, but great job in the end by Gravit. Second field goal so far this evening. Back to a 17-point deficit. Now Sapahi. Oh, wide open shot on the perimeter. Make that 9 3-pointers for Türkiye. Well, this time Yiğit Sabin now makes it a 20-point Turkish lead. Fofana. Looking around the screen with Mambo. Oh, good hands by Yurtseven. Türkiye have numbers, a 4-on-2. Beberovic. Yurtseven gets a foul, but he's unable to convert the and-one. This is what Elias Papadendro, probably the next timeout, you're going to hear him say to his players, look, if we turn it over, we got to make every effort to get back on defense. A 4-on-2, and that was way too casual. Shumao picking up the foul. That's his second personal of the evening. Not too much foul trouble to be concerned with. 4 players, Mambo along with Shumao, Groundwalker, and Fofana, all with 2 each. And now they find themselves down by 21, potentially 22, if your server can't make the second free throw. Second free throw, no good. He's 1 point and 5 rebounds away from a double-double. Three minutes played here in the third quarter. Fofana trying to find Mambo. Sapahi comes up with it, and Türkiye again want to run. Sapahi, alley-oop, but blocked by the rim. But good save by Yichang Saiber. Türkiye had numbers, but didn't have the spacing. But I'd say that was good collapse defense by the 2 players of Switzerland inside the paints. Furkan Korkmaz also back in the lineup here for Türkiye, looking for 3, number 10. A little too short. With 7 stepping out of bounds, so Switzerland will get it back. Türkiye now 9 out of 22 from downtown, because they were 46% from the perimeter against Bosnia-Herzegovina. They're 40% this evening. Mambo high pick and roll. Fofana. Good denial defense by Kirin Sapahi. Fofana pulls up from 18. Not getting it. Mambo battles. Big man go up. Finally gets his first 2 points. And you know what? That's huge for Switzerland. They haven't had many second chance points this evening. Now they switching the ball screen. Now matched up. Fofana's got 2 fouls. And Saiber just takes advantage of the mismatch. Well, that's the problem with the 1 through 5 switching for Switzerland. Any post entry is going to be a problem unless they double team. Groundwalker aggressively drives to his left, quickly tries to go up with it. Mambo, another offensive boy. This is good for the big fella. Grave finds Groundwalker, 3 is up, gets his own rebound. Steps out of one, no, throws it right to Kirin Sapahi. Now Türkiye want to run. And that's gonna be a foul. Oh no! Well, they're actually gonna call an offensive foul against Yurtseven. And it almost looked like that there was a hold. Have a look. That's tough. That is a tough one indeed. I mean, it looked initially like Paul Grave hooked onto it, but Switzerland will get it back. Changes coming in for Türkiye as Berk Ulu back into the lineup. Hasn't scored yet in this game. Played just under 5 minutes in the first half. Mambo also leaves the game for Switzerland. Still a 21-point lead. Well, there's a screen by Shumao. Just not dropping tonight. It goes out of bounds. Well, Rochak is just subbed into the game for Mambo. Now you hear the Turkish fans tonight here in Freiburg, because many of them, of course, living here in Switzerland, loving the atmosphere. Korkmaz, there's a foul. Not going to get the out one, but 2 free throws coming up. Foul is on Yuri Solka. It's such a problem for Korkmaz. The length of size that he possesses, it makes him so tough to defend, but he also has that high release. Well, he's currently playing for Tofaş Bursa. You just have to remember, he actually played for Tekshir Bandırma when they were known as Bombay, playing in their first ever final of the Basketball Champions League in La Laguna Tenerife, where they did end up losing to the hosts. For 7 years with the Philadelphia 76ers. Change now again in here for Türkiye. Turkish fans now, you can hear them chanting their country's name. Oh, great save by Fofana, avoiding the block, but a foul is oh, it's going to be basket interference. Good 7. Not quite sure if he touched the net, if he smacked the backboard. But that will count. Let's have a look here. Watch here at 7. Smack on the backboard, which justifies all. The young NBA prospect into the lineup yet again, Luka Manima. Just that infamous win for the Swiss under-19s at the World Cup this summer. Past summer against France. In that round of 16, a historical win for Swiss basketball. Here at 7, seal off. That's textbook. Classic post play by the big fella. It's all about fighting and getting positioning. Giving the entry pass an option. Fofana has time and space for a 3. Puts it up, can't get it. Switzerland just haven't found that rhythm. Because they only have 1 3-pointer in the second quarter against Türkiye. There's a pump fake. Saibir. Another foul, another trip to the free throw line. Wichan Saibir just hasn't scored yet this evening. Oh, he has 7 points, excuse me. He hasn't got to the free throw line. He actually hasn't missed a shot so far. He's made a 3-pointer. Just had 2 looks inside the rainbow. Because like Volkan Korkmaz currently playing in the Basketball Champions League, both players having quite a good season so far in the BCL. This is the 2nd season with Tofaş, 2-time Turkish Basketball Super League winner in 2019 and 2021. Standing Türkiye's lead at 24, 9 points for Yiğit Saibir. That's what the Swiss fans want to see, something from Luka Manima. That's a penetration, little floater, and unable to get the drop, but another basket interference. Well, that wasn't going in. There's no need to go for it. That's a great take. Indeed, a fantastic take. Well, Yuri Solka now with 5 points so far this evening. Still a 22-point lead to Türkiye. Manima matching up defensively. Saibir has time, space, he'll fire a 3. Sinks it from downtown. And Türkiye right now 10 3-pointers converted. 12 for Saibir. Now becomes the 3rd Turkish player in double digits. Along with Omer Yurtseven and Terry Baberovic. Fofana's got seconds left. Penetrates, goes in. What a play by Salim Fofana. And again, for the 3rd time, beats the buzzer. He is the buzzer beater indeed. Double team comes over. Türkiye patiently passing the ball around. We want to get a good shot. Berkulu kicks out. Korkmaz. Another offensive board. 8th offensive rebound tonight for Türkiye. Whoa, good denial defense on the post. But can they capitalize? Well, Tony Rociak right now showing his coach, Ilias Papadedro, why he's in the lineup. Foul is going to be committed. I mean, look at this. Coach, I got heart, hustle, and desire. He may be bigger, but he's not getting the post entry. Switzerland still down by 23. Nice hesitation. Avoids the block. Beautiful play. Oh, 4 points here in the third quarter for Yuri Solka. You gotta love that hesitation. He's got 7 in total tonight. Second leading scorer for the Swiss, right behind Salim Fofana, who's got 13. There's the penetration by Türkiye. And again, the seal-off. Great work by Sertac Shanley, which enabled Yichad Saibir to go in for the penetration. And now he's Türkiye's second leading scorer, right behind Tara Baberovic. Rocek, nice pick and roll. Better basketball we're seeing from Switzerland in the past few minutes. But again, Türkiye just go right down the other end. And Yichad Saibir becomes the game's joint leading scorer with Tara Baberovic. 8 fast break points already for Türkiye. Switzerland heavily relying on the creativity, the isolation of Salim Fofana. Fofana goes in the paint. Well, somebody's got to crash in for an offensive board at that point. 23-point lead to Türkiye. Korkmaz. He only had one thing on his mind. But Solka trying to defend him. Now Solka's going to get called for a foul. So it's going to be 2 free throws going up for Yichad Saibir. Yichad Saibir just hits the deck, but he's going to be okay. He's right there, Solka just holding him back. He stands at 201 centimeters, Yichad Saibir. He's having a very good year, averaging 9.3 points, along with just over 3 rebounds this season in the BCL. And interesting, he's been a 58% free throw shooter. Well, they are in quite a tough group indeed, as they're sitting second with a record at 2-2, just above Trapani Sharks and just below the undefeated La Laguna Tenerife. Final shot. Is he going to beat the buzzer again, Salim Fofana? Oh, Solka, bit of contact, and he'll go to the free throw line for 3 shots. I think you can hear Edgan Ataman. Not happy with the defense. Yep. Double changes coming in for these final minutes. This is Ataman's way of saying he's not happy. That's a poor foul to give away by Berk Yilmaz. Well, Yuri Solka started his pro career back in 2016. He's always played in the Swiss Basketball League. There's another player like many on this national team that do play for Lyon de Genève. He's also spent 2 seasons with Spinelli Massagno. Also played for Fribourg Olympics. He misses yet again another free throw. He is averaging 14 points per game this season. He's able to get the third one to go. Türkiye, only a bit of time left. Got to go quick. There it is. Almost got it. Well, we've had quite a few buzzer beaters for Furkan Korkmaz. That time the bank wasn't open, but Türkiye still in control of this one. Well, Türkiye leading by 23, 65-42 in the second game of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup Qualifiers. We're live here in Fribourg, Switzerland. Well, we're going to take a look at some of the key stats, but Türkiye 10 out of 25 from the perimeter, like they did against Bosnia-Herzegovina, shooting above 40% from the three-point line. Well, it's been the 8 offensive rebounds as well, along with second chance points. But you look inside the rainbow, not much difference between these two teams. It's been Türkiye's excellence from downtown. With 15 free throws, they have missed 6. We'll take a look at the highlights from the third quarter. Well, there was the play inside right from the beginning. At just 7. One of only 3 players in double figures. Here's the offensive rebound by Schumacher. Points in the paint Well, they've been like gold dust, but Switzerland battling. That is undeniable. There was Yichang Saibir from downtown, the Tofash Bosa man. Right now having a game of games. Well, here was Mambo's first field goal, and he's been working hard this evening, and he's been battling. There's no arguments. But look at Yichang Saibir. Mismatch, going to work. Well, Türkiye, as mentioned, they do have that size advantage. But they've taken advantage of that very well indeed. Türkiye 1 quarter away from remaining undefeated here in the Basketball World Cup qualifiers, unless Switzerland can find it intrinsically from within to mount a comeback, but they're down 23. Well, fans, use that QR code and download Courtside 1891, where you can get all the best streams, schedules, and scores of international basketball. Courtside 1891, the home of international hoops. Well, good to see the young 19-year-old Luka Manima is going to start here in the fourth quarter alongside Salim Fofana. Fofana, pick and roll again. Well, nice twist and turn. Well, he went in with the left hand, but unable to finish. Türkiye again, just want to keep on piling the pressure. Yiğit Arslan. Still 10 here on the shot clock. Double team comes over. Don't leave Arslan wide open. That time they took the gamble, but it pays off. Fofana working with Noya Anebe. And that's a kick out. They'll go for another three. It's up. That's a good look. Luka Manima trying to come in for the weak side for an offensive board, but Türkiye preventing that from happening. Korkmaz. So when he gets the ball above his head, you don't know if he's going to shoot or pass. Nice bump. And again, it's way too easy for Türkiye. Great play getting inside the paint. And that's Berk Ulu getting his first field goal, extending Türkiye's lead to 25. Manabe going back to Fofana. Manima, he'll fire a three. Triple-double in, well, almost a triple-double against France in the Under-19 World Cup, and finally gets his first 3 points. Back to 22, Korkmaz hesitates, can't finish. Switzerland come up with it, they have numbers. Can they capitalize? Oh, great anticipation on defense by Erkan Yilmaz. Switzerland just trying to build something here. Fofana goes to the mid-range. High arc and a 5-0 run for Switzerland. Well, you want to minimize his deficit as much as possible. Under 8 minutes. Fofana now at 15. Same amount he had against Serbia in the defeat in Belgrade. That's a baseline kick out. Arslan misses last 3. Not getting this one. Manima, great job by the 19-year-old. Coming up with the board. Anabir finds Fofana. And Manima goes in. Well, the 19-year-old doing something the veterans haven't been able to do, and that's go for second chance points. A 7-0 Swiss run. Manima now up to 5. That's not a bad foul to give away, actually, because Tony Rocek battling inside the paint. Now Picarelli's going to come back in the lineup. Well, Picarelli subbing in for Yuri Solka, because he did make 1 3-pointer in the first quarter. But down by 18 with 7:12 to go. Oh, can they calm down the comeback? Manima unable to get the rebound. Well, Yilmaz is wide open. Didn't realize. Rocek comes in and intercepts. Switzerland riding on some confidence on that 7-0 run. Can they continue to build? Rocek Bumps. Twist. Gets denied. Well, got to do better than that. Good defense. But Korkmaz, 3 in transition. And now makes the 11-3 for Türkiye. Back to a 21-point lead. 7 tonight for Furkan Korkmaz. Second triple converted. Now you hear the Turkish fans again. Osman Nima's time. Time is winding down. Made his last 3. Those are the kind of shots he's got to take. You got to build your confidence. But Korkmaz made his last 3 and buries another one. Back to back by Furkan Korkmaz. Well, it could be a big year for him and Tofaş Bursa in the Basketball Champions League, as well as Yiğit. 24-point lead again. Fofana's got 15, missed the layup. Türkiye want to run. Korkmaz been on fire. Give and go. 8 consecutive points from Furkan Korkmaz as he turns it up a gear. Well, you thought it was going to be a 3-pointer, but it was the give and go. And 8 consecutive, I repeat. We'll go down to Switzerland's bench to find out what Ilias Papadendro has to say. Well, actually, no, we won't, because indeed, you kind of wonder. Points difference is going to be huge. Now, fans, use that QR code and download the official FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifying app. Follow your favorite players and teams right from the qualifiers up until Doha 2027. Download it today. When you look at the points, the only difference, of course, was that second quarter where it was a 10-point advantage for Türkiye. I mean, they did win the first by 6, but you take away that second quarter, this could be a much different ball game indeed. But like I said, it's a tough group, Group C. You've got Türkiye, you've also got Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Remember, the top 3 will go on to the second round. 32 European teams in the qualifiers. Only 12 will be able to book their tickets, and the Jedi Osman Warrior will hopefully be in. Well, he'll be hoping that they'll get to Doha because they failed to qualify for Japan, Indonesia, and the Philippines in 2023. But a very good Eurobasket this past summer for Türkiye. A 26-point lead for Türkiye. Biggest margin in the game. Switzerland's got to keep on battling. It's been a quiet night for Shumawa. Mambo back in the lineup. It's going to be a baseline possession coming up for Switzerland. Well, Picarelli now from 18. And it just won't go in. Well, that was great execution. Curled the screen, got set. And that's unfortunate. Well, they turn it over. Now Switzerland want to run. No foul given. Shumawa finds Mambo and gets a second field goal. Well, they haven't had many transition points tonight, but that should build their confidence. Remember, these two teams will meet again. For Switzerland, that indeed is their first field goal in transition. Only 2 fast break points. Time winding down here on the shot clock. Aslan, step back 3. Again, Türkiye continue to light it up. Magnificent display from the perimeter tonight from Türkiye. Well, they are setting a statement. Remember, they met Serbia in the last World Cup qualifiers. They will meet them eventually here in the group. 13 out of 31 from the three-point line. Fofana gets the pump fake up, and he's able to knock that one down. Beautiful take by Salim Fofana. He's got 17 this evening, Fofana. 8 out of 18 from the field. Still a 25-point lead in favor of Türkiye. Another wide open look. Almost got it. Just over 3.5. Fofana wants to run. Foul is going to be drawn. That's on the ground. It's on Furkan Korkmaz. I think he is going to go to the bench. Oh, great game for Furkan Korkmaz, especially here in this quarter. Korkmaz finishing with 12 points. Kills also 2 rebounds and 1 assist. Yiğitcan Arslan back in the lineup. And as he comes up with a steal. It's Turkey's leading scorer tonight. Yiğitcan Saybir, excuse me. Berkerlu has time and space and buries three-pointer number 14. Well, Turkey don't want to stop from the three-point line. 5 points tonight for Ulu. And now Shimao will try his luck from downtown. Well, it'll do his confidence good. It's just a little too late at this point. 8 points for Alexander Shimao. Second three-pointer made tonight. Well, Turkey have converted 4 already here in the fourth quarter, but it's been an excellent display. And 10 against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Luka Manima back in the lineup. Probably is going to play this last 2:45. A 25-point lead to Turkey. Mambo switch it. Saybir, another 3. Now falling to Shimao. Foul is going to be committed. That one's going to be committed on the ground. What's on Yiğit Arslan? While Switzerland trying to finish on a strong note. Shimao finds Manima. A good kick out here. Time is winding down. Mambo step through, and now comes up with his 3rd field goal. Well, that was a nice move. A little bit of a dream skyhook by Mambo. Cuts it down to 23, and I think that's been a big addition, is that Switzerland have been able to get quite a few points in the paint compared to Turkey's size on the defensive end. Well, Manima comes up with it. Still has it. Switzerland have numbers. Mambo, little Euro step action. And now he goes on a 4-0 personal run here for Switzerland. He's got 8 tonight. And after having not scored in the first half, now currently has 8. Well, that's a pump fake. Gets the defense off the ground. Spinning, what a dime, goes in. Tough play. Tough indeed. Finding Hautala. 23 assists in total tonight for Turkey. Shimao draws yet again another foul. 1:17 to go here in the fourth quarter. Well, you gotta love Turkish basketball fans. They just make an outstanding atmosphere wherever they go. And they've done just that tonight here in Fribourg. Shimao. But he was wide open. They didn't get it to him. He'll pull up for a 3. Well, even the ones he's missed, they've been on target. They look good. Because he is a bright prospect for the future of Swiss basketball. The kick out in the corner for Turkey. Can they go for 3, number 14? Hautala coming up with the offensive board. Time winded down here in the shot clock. Why not? He made his last 3. Not going to get this one. Another foul. Another trip to the free throw line for Yiğitcan. Well, Simon has been terrific. That's a testament to just how well he's having a season with Tofaş Bursa in the Basketball Champions League. That's 17 tonight. He's only missed 1 3-point attempt and 1 free throw. 19 for Yiğitcan Arslan. Hell of a game. Türkiye's leading scorer. 6 seconds difference between both game and shot clock. Switzerland, one final play, down by 25. Mambo still has it. Unable to finish. Well, there you can see great sportsmanship by Ergan Ataman, telling his players not going to shoot it. Well, Türkiye failed to qualify for the last FIBA Basketball World Cup, and a great start for one of the greatest coaches in international basketball. They'll go 2-0 with wins against both Bosnia and Herzegovina, and tonight, indeed, Switzerland. Well, after finishing second place in the FIBA Eurobasket, a great final they had against Germany, but unfortunately not becoming champions. Türkiye sending a message that they want to qualify, and they want to qualify quick. Well, Yiğitcan Arslan leading the scoring for Türkiye, while Salim Fofana leading the scoring for Switzerland. Yeah, it's a heartbreak, of course, in that defeat at Belgrade, where they were winning for the majority of the game, but Ilyas Papadendou does have a talented team. Remember, top 3 teams in each group will go to round 2. Only 12 of the 32 European teams will be able to book their tickets to Doha 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup. As always, a magnificent beginning for Türkiye. Well, they can enjoy it with their fans, but these players, they'll return to their clubs after this window. Switzerland, a lot of excitement, but a lot to look back on. Great games for both Kenan Sapahi, as well as Seamus Hazard, as well as Salim Fofana, but because he'll be going back to Romania, where he's playing his professional basketball. Oh, great to see the Turkish support tonight here in Fribourg at San Leonard, a magnificent arena that saw many great nights in the Basketball Champions League 6 years ago. I mean, look at those stats there. 14 three-pointers to 6. And that was the difference. I mean, you cut that in half, and this is, a 2-position win for Türkiye, but Türkiye, dominant rebounding performance, 40-26, as well as 23-11 on the assists. Both teams combined total of 16 steals in total, but Yiğitcan Arslan picking up the award for the most valuable player. Well, Yiğitcan Saibir, excuse me, my apologies. 19 tonight. Salim Fofana, the only player in double figures for Switzerland, on both Tara Baberovic. Scoreless in the second half, but a big win for Türkiye. Heidi Türkiye. That is what those fans want to be chanting, indeed, well, when they potentially, if they do get to Doha 2027. A great performance from that man, Salim Fofana. Because 2 big games for him, indeed. On the road in Belgrade, in that defeat, he had 15 points. And well, tonight, another great game. 8 out of 18, 17 in total. Because finishing with 4 assists and 2 rebounds in total. And getting the respect from the Turkish fans for his performance. Well, the next window for these 2 teams won't be until February. For Switzerland, well, they'll be on the road, and they'll also be hosting in a doubleheader against Bosnia and Herzegovina. While Türkiye, the same for them will apply, as they'll take on Serbia. Remember, they met in the second round of the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. They'll be looking to set the record straight. Well, very soon we are going to look at the highlights. Well, a great start to the second half for Türkiye. And here you can see Ulu just getting in and around the defense off the ball screen, straight to the bucket. Well, here was Salim Fofana finding Luka Niema, the young 19-year-old, getting his first 3 points. Big 3-pointer indeed. Well, the future's definitely bright with him and Salim Fofana, as well as Alexander Shumawa, but it's a great passage of play in this game for Switzerland. It's the follow by Luka Niema. Well, not Niema, excuse me, but you can see in transition. It's on the kick out, Furkan Korkmaz. 12 points by the Tofaş Bursa player. The give and go, and then the one-handed throwdown. time Shumawa just finding Mambo in transition. This is a tough play that time. Arslan getting that three-pointer that the former Tofaş Bursa player. That was the pump fake, the step through by Salim Fofana. Shumawa that time from downtown, but it was just too little too late at that point for Switzerland. Manima that time finding Mambo, step through, left-handed skyhook. Gotta love it from the big fella. That was the great play in the end, finding Hautzler, the spin out, the distribution, but a big win indeed for Türkiye. Well, we'll take a look at the standings here. Remember, Bosnia and Herzegovina still playing against Serbia. Because Serbia looking to go 2-0. Bosnia and Herzegovina looking for a big response indeed. You can watch that game if you are courtside 1891. Because tipping off just a little bit later this evening. Türkiye, though, they'll finish the group 2-0. Two very big wins. Depending how Serbia do, well, it may look indeed that Türkiye will remain top of Group C. Well, fans, that does it for Group C. Because these teams will see them again in February for the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. But for now, here at Saint Leonard in Freiburg, Switzerland, indeed, we thank you for joining us, but it's good night, goodbye, and God bless.
Johan Gromvorka, la défaite est sèche, mais vous êtes